Episode 9. It didn't occur to Harry to put Fudge right. He was still waiting to hear what was going to happen to him now.
"So all that remains," said Fudge,
Now, buttering himself a second crumpet,
"is to decide where you're going to spend the last 2 weeks of your vacation. I suggest you take a room here at the Leaky Cauldron and—"
"Hang on," blurted Harry. "What about my punishment?" Fudge blinked.
"Punishment?"
"I broke the law," Harry said. "The decree for the restriction of underage wizardry."
"Oh, my dear boy, we're not going to punish you for a little thing like that," cried Fudge, waving his crumpet impatiently. "It was an accident. We don't send people to Azkaban just for blowing up their aunts."
But this didn't tally at all with Harry's past dealings with the Ministry of Magic. "Last year, I got an official warning just because a house elf smashed a pudding in my uncle's house," he told Fudge, frowning. "The Ministry of Magic said I'd be expelled from Hogwarts if there was any more magic there." Unless Harry's eyes were deceiving him, Fudge was suddenly looking awkward.
"Circumstances change, Harry. We have to take into account in the present climate. Well, surely you don't want to be expelled?"
"Of course I don't," said Harry.
"Well then, what's all the fuss about? Now, have a crumpet, Harry, while I go and see if Tom's got a room for you."
Fudge strode out of the parlor, and Harry stared after him. There was something extremely odd going on. Why had Fudge been waiting for him at the Leaky Cauldron, if not to punish him for what he'd done? And now Harry came to think of it, surely it wasn't usual for the Minister of Magic himself to get involved in matters of underage magic? Fudge came back, accompanied by Tom, the innkeeper.
"Room 11's free, Harry," said Fudge. "I think you'll be very comfortable. Just one thing, and I'm sure you'll understand. I don't want you wandering off into Muggle London, all right? Keep to Diagon Alley, and you're to be back here before dark each night. Sure you'll understand. Tom will be keeping an eye on you for me."
"Okay," said Harry, slowly. "But why?"
"Don't want to lose you again, do we?" said Fudge with a hearty laugh. No. Best we know where you are.
Fudge cleared his throat loudly and picked up his pinstriped cloak.
"Well, I'll be off. Plenty to do, you know."
"Have you had any luck with Black yet?" Harry asked. Fudge's finger slipped on the silver fastenings of his cloak.
"What's that?"
"Oh, you've heard. Well, no, not yet, but it's only a matter of time. The Azkaban guards have never yet failed, and they are angrier than I've ever seen them." Fudge shuddered slightly.
"So I'll say goodbye."
He held out his hand, and Harry, shaking it, had a sudden idea. "Oh, Minister, can I ask you something?"
"Certainly," said Fudge with a smile.
"Well, third years at Hogwarts are allowed to visit Hogsmeade, but my aunt and uncle didn't sign my permission form. Do you think you could—" Fudge was looking uncomfortable.
"Ah," he said, No, I'm very sorry, Harry, but I'm not your parent or guardian."
"But you're the Minister of Magic," said Harry eagerly. "If you gave me permission—"
"No, Harry, I'm sorry, but the rules are rules," said Fudge flatly. "Perhaps you'll be able to visit Hogsmeade next year. In fact, I think it's best if you don't."
"Yes, well, I'll be off. Enjoy your stay, Harry." And with a last smile and shake of Harry's hand, Fudge left the room. Tom now moved forward, beaming at Harry.
"If you follow me, Mr. Potter," he said, "I've already taken your things up."
Harry followed Tom up a handsome wooden staircase to a door with a brass number 11 on it, which Tom unlocked and opened for him. Inside was a very comfortable-looking bed, some highly polished oak furniture, a cheerfully crackling fire, and, perched on top of the wardrobe, Hedwig! Harry gasped. The snowy owl clicked her beak and fluttered down onto Harry's arm.
Very smart owl you've got there, chuckled Tom. Arrived about 5 minutes after you did. If there's anything you need, Mr. Potter, don't hesitate to ask. He gave another bow and left.
Harry sat on his bed for a long time, absent-mindedly stroking Hedwig. The sky outside the window was changing rapidly from deep, velvety blue to cold, steely gray, and then slowly to pink, shot with gold. Harry could hardly believe that he'd left Privet Drive only a few hours ago, that he wasn't expelled, and that he was now facing 2 completely Dursley-free weeks. "It's been a very weird night, Hedwig," he yawned. And without even removing his glasses, he slumped back onto his pillows and fell asleep. Chapter 4. The Leaky Cauldron. It took Harry several days to get used to his strange new freedom. Never before had he been able to get up whenever he wanted or eat whatever he fancied. He could even go wherever he pleased as long as it was in Diagon Alley. And as this long cobbled street was packed with the most fascinating wizarding shops in the world, Harry felt no desire to break his word to Fudge and stray back into the Muggle world. Harry ate breakfast each morning in the Leaky Cauldron, where he liked watching the other guests. Funny little witches from the country up for a day's shopping, venerable-looking wizards arguing over the latest article in Transfiguration today, wild-looking warlocks, raucous dwarves, and once what looked suspiciously like a hag who ordered a plate of raw liver from behind a thick wooden balaclava. After breakfast, Harry would go out into the backyard, take out his wand, tap the 3rd brick from the left above the trash bin, and stand back as the archway into Diagon Alley opened in the wall. Harry spent long, sunny days exploring the shops and eating under the brightly colored umbrellas outside cafes, where his fellow diners were showing one another their purchases.
It's a lunoscope, old boy. No more messing around with moon charts, eh?
Or else discussing the case of Sirius Black.
Personally, I won't let any of the children out alone until he's back in Azkaban.
Harry didn't have to do his homework under the blankets by flashlight anymore. Now he could sit in the bright sunshine outside Florian Fortescue's ice cream parlor, finishing all his essays with occasional help from Florian Fortescue himself, who, apart from knowing a great deal about medieval witch burnings, gave Harry free Sundays every half an hour. Once Harry had refilled his money bag with gold galleons, silver sickles, and bronze canutes from his vault at Gringotts, he had to exercise a lot of self-control not to spend the whole lot at once. In order to keep himself from buying a handsome set of solid gold gobstones, it's a wizarding game, rather like marbles, in which the stones squirt nasty-smelling liquid into the other players' faces when they lose a point. In order to avoid buying this gold gobstone game, he had to keep reminding himself that he had 5 years to go at Hogwarts, and that it would feel very bad to ask the Dursleys for money for spell books. He was sorely tempted, too, by the perfect moving model of the galaxy in a large glass ball, which would have meant he would never have to take another astronomy lesson. But the thing that tested Harry's resolution most appeared in his favorite shop, Quality Quidditch Supplies,